Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official NFL playoff bracket challenge where I go through every single NFL playoff game. I'm going to be filling out the entire bracket, including the Super Bowl. This year it's in New Orleans at the Caesars Superdome. And we're going to start with the AFC and just go round by round here. You do have the Chiefs with a bye. The Chiefs, what did they finish with, like a plus 50 point differential? They went 15 and 2. I'm not impressed with the Chiefs, honestly. I'm not going to be picking them to go to the Super Bowl. There's a little spoiler alert. But you do have the Texans taking the Chargers. The Texans, it's an annual tradition playing the Saturday afternoon wild card home game. Both of these teams have some issues. The Texans missing two of their top receivers, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, CJ Stroud, kind of a sophomore slump. The Chargers, kind of a gritty team, Jim Harbaugh type team. I guess I'll go with the Chargers. I know the Chargers are slight favorites. I don't know. The Texans this year, CJ Stroud has just struggled. I mean, they're at home. I think either one of these teams is going to lose to the Chiefs in cold weather there at Arrowhead, but I would go with the Chargers slightly in that one. Ravens hosting the Steelers. The Steelers finishing the season very, very poorly. What are the Ravens, around 9.5, 10-point favorites? I mean, this year for Lamar Jackson, he's really got to do something in the playoffs. I think they win this game. I'm not sure they're going to cover a 9.5, 10-point spread. I mean, this is a rivalry type matchup. And the Steelers, I mean, it's just towards the end of every year, it seems like the Steelers really struggle. And now they're a 6 seed. They lost to Cincinnati at the end of the season. Definitely the Ravens playing very, very well. The 3 seed right now, I will take them to advance. The Bills taking on the Broncos. The Broncos, a fun little season there. Made the playoffs. Bo Nix, what did he have, like 29 passing touchdowns as a rookie? Started off really bad, but definitely improved as the season went on. The Bills at home in this one. You know, I'm really not concerned about the Bills in a game like that just because you're dealing with a rookie quarterback for the Broncos, and it's tough going on the road. Josh Allen. Really, the Bills are kind of... I guess they have a lot of complementary players, but it's really just Josh Allen and nothing else. And maybe that's enough, but I'll take the Bills to beat the Broncos. Bills are sitting around 10-point favorites, I want to say, in that one. That's the Sunday 1 o'clock game. The Ravens-Steelers is the Saturday night 8 o'clock game. And then moving on to the NFC, the Lions getting the bye. They defeated the Vikings on Sunday Night Football very easily and won the bye there. Rams taking on the Vikings. So the Vikings are like 3-point favorites in this one. What are they, 14 and 3? They're in a wild card game on the road. It's unfortunate for them. But I will be taking maybe a little bit of an upset here. I'll be taking the Rams. Sam Darnold really looked bad in that Sunday night game last night. And it's the playoffs. I mean, the Rams are only 2.5, 3-point underdogs. I'm not a big fan of the Rams, but I think they win this game and beat the Vikings. A slight upset. 3-point home underdogs. I'll take them. That's the Monday night game. So there's only one game on Monday, but I'm not really impressed with the Rams, but really the Vikings just struggled and the Rams are at home. So I'll go with them. Buccaneers taking on the Commanders. Baker Mayfield's had a very good year. Daniels, the rookie for the Commanders, maybe dealing with a little bit of an injury. I'll take the Bucs to advance as the 3 seed. That is the Sunday night game at 8 o'clock. And then this is the Sunday afternoon game. It is the Eagles taking on the Packers. The Packers dealing with some injuries. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, I think he should be fine for this game. Barkley was amazing this season. I'll go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles are a really, really good team. So I'm going to take the Eagles to advance there. So, I mean, really no upsets except maybe the Rams beating the Vikings. You could make an argument, maybe the Commanders, but I don't know. I really don't trust a rookie QB on the road in round 1. Packers, I feel like they're a banged up team at this point. And then here, I don't really see anyone picking the Steelers over the Ravens. This game is a toss-up, but the Texans and CJ Stroud have just kind of been too wobbly this year. And then I think everyone would be picking the Bills. So moving on to the second round, the divisional matchups. It is the Chiefs taking on the Chargers. The Chiefs, the number 1 overall seed. This is a AFC West divisional matchup. And I am tempted just to pick the Chargers here. I don't know, man. It feels like the Chiefs are going to be one and done. Maybe I'll go with the Chiefs here, though, to win a close, lower scoring game. I think the Chiefs will at least win one game. I don't know. I just don't like the Chiefs this year. And three-peating is just, to me, out of the question. It's not going to happen for the Chiefs. The Bills taking on the Ravens. Really good quarterback matchup here. Both of these QBs need a Super Bowl run. Lamar Jackson may need it even more just because of the playoff problems he's had in terms of his record. Josh Allen has at least won some games, but I will be taking the Bills to win this game, but it could really go either way. I mean, I think the Ravens are a more talented team, but the Bills are at home. So you're talking about a literal pick 'em. If it was a neutral site game, I'd say the Ravens. I mean, they just have a better overall roster than the Bills. But I'll say the Bills win this one at home by a field goal, maybe like 23-20, something like that. So you've got a 1v2 matchup there. Moving on to the Lions taking on the Rams. I do like the Lions. I do. I'm going to have the Lions advance. This is kind of a cookie cutter bracket here. But I think with the Super Bowl, I'll have it a little bit differently. But I will take the Lions to beat the Rams. I'm really not high on the Rams. I could just see the Rams beating the Vikings because of how bad Sam Darnold looked and the fact that they're going on the road. But I think the Lions will easily beat the Rams. It's like a playoff rematch, so give me them. Eagles taking on Bucks. I think this one's pretty obvious. I think the Eagles got an amazing draw here. As long as they can get back past the Packers, and depending on the injuries to the Packers, this is a very nice draw for the Eagles. I think they easily beat the Bucks, especially at home, and they would advance to the conference championship game. So now the conference championship games, is it going to be 1v2 versus 1v2? I think the Lions are pretty safe, honestly. Like, I can't really see the Vikings or the Rams beating the Lions, so I think the Lions have a pretty clear shot. Like, looking at the NFC, outside of maybe the Packers, I think it's pretty obvious it's going to be Lions versus Eagles. I mean, anything can happen. It's the NFL playoffs. I mean, the Rams could beat the Lions, who knows? But just based off of everything that's happened this season, it seems pretty likely. And then it wouldn't shock me if the Chiefs were one and done, honestly. The Chargers pull off an upset. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Ravens beat the Bills, but they are going on the road. So you could get like a Chiefs versus Ravens matchup, a Chargers versus Ravens matchup, something like that. But I do have it Chiefs versus Bills, and I will be taking the Bills going on the road to win that game in Arrowhead. And Josh Allen makes the Super Bowl for the first time in his career. And then when it comes to the NFC Conference Championship game, Lions taking on the Eagles. I will be going with the Eagles to win. So both two seeds advancing. I think the Eagles are just the most complete team in the NFC. As long as Jalen Hurts is all right, they should be good to honestly probably make the Super Bowl. Now you have the Bills versus the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I think this would be a pretty cool Super Bowl. I will be taking the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Even though their roster is certainly not the best, it's not better than the Eagles. I do think they end up winning. And when it comes to how many total points will be scored in the playoffs, 13 total games, it's always just a weird thing that they do this. It's like you have to calculate it, but I mean, if you think about it, if there's 13 games, if it's 50 points a game, it's like 700 total, but it's going to be less than that because it's the playoffs. Maybe like 40 points, maybe, I don't know. Maybe like 552 total points. Imagine if that's what it ended up being. But yeah, so that's my bracket when it comes to the playoffs. I mean, to be honest, in terms of who can actually win the Super Bowl, you have to say the Chiefs, based off of their pedigree, can definitely win the Super Bowl. The Bills can win it. The Ravens can win it. I think that's basically it out of the AFC. Out of the NFC, the Lions could win the Super Bowl, the Eagles, and I think that's probably it. You could argue maybe the Packers if they go on a run. But going on the road in round one, I just don't see them beating the Eagles. All the other teams, I mean, you could argue the Vikings. I mean, look at this. But the Vikings, to me, they're the prototypical regular season type team. Maybe I'll be wrong on that, but they also got a terrible draw going on the road in round one and then possibly having to face the number one seed on the road in round two. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.